Mirjam hier van Dipsaus en...
Ebissé in the house.
Alleen Anousha kan er niet bij zijn, want die is busy being awesome op theater. Die is druk aan het repeteren. Ja. Dus nu eventjes met z'n tweetjes, want wij hebben een extra voor jullie. Een bonusaflevering.
Ja, een bonusaflevering. Vandaag geen fancy studio in Hilversum. Maar per ongeluk gewoon heel spontaan hangende bloempotten naar beneden vallen.
Die vallen spontaan?
Maar gewoon aan de keukentafel, aan de eettafel in Huizen Disruption.
Klopt, ja, in het kader van New Media.
Ja, exactly. En we zijn allemaal hip en happening. Maar zoals iedereen hebben we ook natuurlijk met verbazing en ergens ook met berusting en dread en horror.
Echt, ja.
Naar de trainwreck that is the American elections gevolgd.
Ja, en vandaar ook naam van de aflevering What the fuck America.
Ja, en we waren heel erg benieuwd naar de impact op de mensen en landen in de Global South. We waren heel erg benieuwd, dus we hebben besloten om people of color gewoon overal ter wereld even te vragen.
Mensen die onze vrienden zijn uit onze eigen netwerk, waarvan wij juist heel nieuwsgierig waren van hoe zouden die erover denken? Maar dan als centraal het land waarin zij leven of vandaan komen. Ik heb op Twitter hele interessante artikelen, tweets gelezen van mensen van kleur. Ja, en weet je, ik vond het allemaal op Nederlandse media niet zo heel interessant. Het was toch wel een beetje hetzelfde. Mensen zouden verbaasd zijn, hadden het niet verwacht.
Ja.
Terwijl ik wel eigenlijk Marokkaan in Marokko hoorde van... Oh, no.
Ja.
Wel verbaasd. Ja. Hoezo dan? Ja. Dus we hebben ongeveer... 8 mensen hebben we gevraagd?
Ja, ongeveer 8 mensen hebben gevraagd. Ja. En we gaan even hun reacties even aan jullie laten horen. En we beginnen met Muteleni Nadimi. Zij woont en werkt in Namibië. We gaan met haar beginnen.
Yes.
Here in Namibia, we've been following the U.S. elections, and I have to admit, I was waking up at strange hours of the morning just to watch the debates, first between Clinton and Sanders, especially the Florida one, that was interesting, and then, getting up in the wee hours of the morning to hear Clinton debate against Trump and eventually to hear the final results. And all along I kept saying, I'm curious to see what the American people will decide. And having studied in the U.S. during George W. Bush's second term campaign against John Kerry, I remember walking around campus and just feeling the dismay of my fellow students, of the faculty, the university staff, and everybody in this, liberal arts college environment, pretty depressed about another term under George W. Bush. So I have a sort of I pose to have a healthy distance between my opinions and the choice of the American people. But of course, I too am moved by hysterical excitement, hope, when Obama is elected into the U.S. presidency, and by despair, dismay, shock, when Trump was elected. And it impacts so much. It impacts my cultural consumption because all the online newspapers, the blogs, the places I go to that bring me news from America, they were not happy places. And the tone, the international tone it sets for countries, perhaps less so directly in Africa, but places where there's an increase in right-wing nationalistic politics. It's quite it's flabbergasting that they voted this kind of president into office, but it's opening up a conversation that Americans perhaps need to have, and that the international or global community needs to reflect on as America goes into this.
En nu gaan we Nasser horen. Die komt oorspronkelijk uit Mauritanië en woont in Boston, Amerika.
Donald Trump is the product of the culture of reality TV hyper-consumerism. His election was a surprise, a contested surprise for that matter today. We don't know much really about what Donald Trump's policies are going to be if we were to take into consideration the rhetoric of his campaign. He said he's literally taking every position in its opposite. In general terms, the expectations for Donald Trump's policy, specifically on Africa, should not be really high. Donald Trump believes or views the world in a purely transactional terms. And my own personal prediction, based on the little that we know and the little indicators, that Africa is not going to rank high on his priorities, and that whatever is going to happen with the African continent is going to be purely transactional. And one might find it instructive to look at the example of Chinese foreign policy in Africa. I think that's going to be the model for Donald Trump, which is really a mercantile policy that is unprincipled and is all about making deals and making profit at the expense of human rights or any principles, and doing the deals with the worst of dictators with no qualms.
De volgende is Amina en zij is Marokkaanse uit Casablanca.
Hello. Personally, I was not surprised by the winning of Trump because I was following the news of America from the beginning of the elections, and I saw this assurance on the mass media on him, and it's always the opposition of the results that they are seeking that happens when people act like this. In the other side, I think that Clinton is not an angel. We saw her work when she was Secretary of the State, and for us in the Arab world, she did some bad policies, like the war in Libya and other stuff. And there are a joke that we are saying in the Arab world, seeing that we live in trouble from so many years, so many decades, we are glad to see that maybe a very big economy and industry and very big country will be in trouble with Donald Trump, so they will understand us better, and maybe it will lead to some transformations and some major changements in the policy, and that's it. احنا واكلين خرا، خليهم ياكلوا خرا معانا. هذه الفكرة.
Vrij vertaald betekent dat wij hebben altijd jullie shit gegeten. Nu gaan jullie ook een keertje shit eten. En nu Amal uit Libanon en woont nu in Dubai.
And so the day has come and Donald Trump became the president of the United States of America. wow, I can imagine myself telling this story to my grandkids one day and telling them, whoa, so the United States finally got someone who's kind of looks like it. At least that's what everyone has been saying since Trump has been elected. I think for us in the Arab world, it doesn't make such a big difference because either of them would have had like a really terrible foreign policy towards the Middle East. We know that the wars are still going to be ongoing, whether it's him or Hillary. And so it didn't really affect us much. But to really think that someone like Trump, a pussy grabber, someone who harasses women, who looks down on them, just a stupid entertainer who only cares about making more money, for him to be the president of the United States of America, that's kind of shocking. I mean, what kind of example are we giving to those young boys and young girls who want to be someone in the future and who want to be in politics? Like, oh, so you can just do whatever you want. You can drop off college. You can just, be a drug dealer, be whatever you want to. And then in the future, you might become a president. I think that's the really nasty thing about him being president is that he's setting a really, really, really terrible example for the young kids out there. But anyway, who are we to judge kind of, in Lebanon we have an 80-year-old president who was like a general in the army, so we're not really allowed to speak about this. So yeah, that's my take on Trump's presidency. Good luck, America!
Dat was dus de reactie van Amal. Nu gaan we luisteren naar Nissan. Nissan woont in Jeruzalem, maar komt oorspronkelijk uit Ethiopië. Ze woont in Jeruzalem en Londen eigenlijk. Dus.
Well, did I expect the results? Not really. I was really hoping that Hillary would winning and people will be more sensible, I guess, not to elect Donald Trump. What was I surprised? Not completely, because at the back of my head there was this fear that was, if he has come this far, I mean, he is the Republican candidate and people have been voting for him to get there, and then you feel, oh, maybe he has a chance. So there was that fear at the back of my head about that, and I wasn't completely surprised, but expectation-wise, I was really, really expecting Hillary to win. But at the end, the last few days, probably, the last few weeks, where the FBI announced investigation on her emails, I was like, oh my God, yeah, this could happen. So it was a shock, basically. What do I think it will mean for people of color in the diaspora? Well, if you have followed the election and Trump was elected and people are supporting him because of his bigoted ideas, basically. He was making fun of minorities, he was insulting minorities, he was insulting people with disabilities, he was insulting and demeaning women. So, and people are cheering for that. So I feel even if he has done it as a political rhetoric to get votes, the people who actually believe those things, and probably he would be one of them because he was saying it again and again and again. The people who believe these things and who have those ideas have come out of the woods. He has mainstreamed hatred, he has mainstreamed bigotry, and these people are now out endorsing him, and some of them are taking office in his administration, in his future administration. It just feels such a scary time for people of color and other minorities. I think if we see what happened in the UK after Brexit and around Brexit and around the election, the referendum is the hatred was unbelievable. You can see an MP being killed by somebody who has a far-right ideology because she was campaigning to be open and to have the United Kingdom within the EU, and she actually lost her life, a 30-something-year-old young woman, very up-and-coming ambitious MP was killed. So you can see the effect would go beyond what the guy is talking about. People could actually take on, be inspired by what he was saying, and commit crimes. And it's scary for minorities and people of color. And so I think he has set back so much of the progress that have been made in the last how many years. So people have to be vigilant about protecting those both people of color and their allies, basically. It's not a time to sit back and relax, basically. What happens probably in terms of Africa or the global south, I think it's still uncertain because the guy wasn't really elected, in my opinion, at the back of policies, and we didn't hear much of what he's going to do in terms of international policies, foreign policies, except he was talking about isolation, very isolationist. So he probably would take a laissez-faire, laid-back kind of an attitude or policy for the global south of Africa. But we've seen it in different administrations, like the Bush administration, the Republicans and the Democrats. When there's change, the policies in Africa change as well in terms of what's funded, what's prioritized, etc. So I'm sure we will see a massive change around that, but it's all up in the air, I guess. We wouldn't really know until he's in office and he starts saying things or deciding things just like that. So it's a bit of a scary perspective, but we would wait and see and hope it wouldn't be as bad as we are expecting, basically.
En nu volgt Elisa. Elisa woont in Duitsland en she's French Guinean.
So my opinion on Donald Trump's victory as a person of color living in Germany and Europe in general, yes, I think it's just a horrible fear that some sort of reactionary revolution is on the march, not only in the US but in Europe in general. And after the Brexit, this is just another confirmation of that, and I'm afraid it will unleash some sort of the feeling that racism is back and racism is allowed, that politically correct is it, that we've done now, we are done with politically correct, that we are done with minorities, and so it feels like dark times are coming for minorities and for people of colors specifically, I think. And this is what I hear from friends and from colleagues. This is what I read everywhere in France and in Germany and in the Netherlands. And I hope we are wrong.
En nu Rania uit Cairo, Egypte.
I think us as Egyptians, Trump becoming president is not going to change anything for us. I think the American administration has the same agenda despite who's president, whether it's Trump, whether it's Clinton, or even Barack Obama. I think it's the same strategy. However, on a global note, I think Trump becoming president is an addition to the extremist trend that's going throughout all countries, from capital extremism to what's so-called religious extremism. So in my opinion, Trump becoming president, it's one more crazy person in power. So for me, it's scary that the world, or at least the northern part of the equator, is becoming more dangerous every day. So I don't know, but as Egyptians, I don't think it's going to change much when it comes to international policy or to aid or anything.
We gaan terug naar Muteleni in Namibië. Jullie hebben haar als eerst gehoord. Zij gaat, she's gonna have the last word about the Trump meltdown.
Culturally, I'm concerned. but perhaps it's a good moment. As an African living at home in Namibia after having studied in the U.S. and in Denmark and in the Netherlands, I'm somehow moved to unfollow America. After the election of Trump, I feel that perhaps it's time to give a little more attention to what's happening at home. So I'm looking more and more to, people, places, ideas coming out of Namibia or South Africa or Botswana, Sub-Saharan Africa at large, and thinking, just reflecting on the recent Olympic Games in Rio. We've had some outstanding performances there. And it's been good, just to be on Twitter and to support our athletes. Also, we've had the Paralympics, and Namibia featured. And I felt, there I am. I'm supporting our athletes and our team, but I'm also obviously following every comment on, what the U.S. gymnasts are doing, or what Leslie Jones is saying from Rio. And I'm thinking everything from sport to news, to music, to fashion, to writing. It's really, North American and Eurocentric, and my cultural consumption, my cultural criticism, it all comes from the North, from the global North. And I think, isn't it time to just unfollow America for a little while? And just, look a little closer to home sometimes when it comes to inspiration in whatever domain. And maybe focus a little more on what my president is doing here and how that is impacting us, and what it is that we are doing that makes an impression globally. And step away and let America have time to reflect. And of course, I'll observe that, no doubt. But this has been a moment, it just allows for distance. I don't want to tune in to the blogs and online newspapers coming from the US for a while. I'm not interested. And it's because I'm upset. It's because I'm dismayed. But, maybe I've been a little too dependent on them, and I should set my dreams on my actual reality. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. But it'll make America more introspective, and perhaps in a strange way, make some of us more introspective.
Dat waren ze.
Ja.
Cool.
Ja, pretty cool, hè?
Ja, echt heel...
Maar wat vond jij er zelf van? Wat is jouw reactie eigenlijk, Mariam?
Ja, ik heb er ook een beetje in aflevering 2 een klein beetje over gehad. En ik heb er met een vriend over gehad die in een... Ik kom er ook niet uit.
Waar woont hij?
Hij woont in Tindouf.
Oké.
En
dat is Marokko?
Nee, dat is Algerije. Dat is een vluchtelingenkamp.
Oké.
En die had het erover, maar de kwaliteit was heel slecht. Dus we hebben het er niet in gedaan. Omdat het internet gewoon daar heel slecht is. In de woestijn in Tindouf. En waar hij het over had, was dat hij eigenlijk gewoon puur geopolitical... was hij blij dat Hillary niet had gewonnen. Omdat hij het had over de $12 miljoen deal tussen dat de koning van Marokko heeft geschonken aan Hillary Clinton.
Ja.
En dat heeft gewoon hele slechte gevolgen voor de westelijke Sahara en hun onafhankelijkheidsstrijd. En dat was vooral zijn invalshoek. En zo had ik het nog niet eens bekeken. Ik had vooral Amerikanen in Amerika. Dus ook Black Americans. Daar dacht ik vooral aan. Van wat zal invloed op hen hebben. En over, weet je, queer people. En weet je, gay marriage. Dus dat was eigenlijk mijn eerste gedachte. Maar toen wij het er een beetje over hadden van... Ja, maar wat voor een invloed heeft het dan op landen van herkomst van ons, weet je wel?
Ja.
En dan vind ik het wel heel interessant om zoveel verschillende mensen die uit het continent Afrika komen, om hen daarover te horen. Ik bedoel, we hebben mensen uit Namibia nu gehoord, Mauritanië, Marokko, maar ook de diaspora. Ja. En dat was wel een stem dat ik heel erg miste in...
Zeker in de Nederlandse media. Ik heb daar gewoon... Het was heel erg Eurocentrisch en Euro-American-centered.
Ja.
En dat was ook... Ik was ook echt heel erg benieuwd naar... hoe de Global South het ervaarde. Dat was eigenlijk de reden waarom we dit hebben gedaan. En mijn eerste reactie toen ik wakker werd was like... Ik hoopte dat ik niet gelijk had. Want ik wist dat hij zou winnen. Na Brexit dacht ik van he's gonna win. Especially after he won the nomination. Dacht ik van natuurlijk gaat hij winnen.
Ja.
En halverwege de hele melodramatic stroom van... oh jee, hoe kan dit gebeuren? Van al die Amerikanen die ik volg. Ik raakte ook een beetje geïrriteerd. En toen, halfway through, dacht ik... op die woensdagmiddag dacht ik ook van... misschien betekent dit ook gewoon... the beginning of the end of the American Empire.
Oei,
want wat Amerika doet... on the global stage... ik bedoel, er zijn zoveel oorlogen waar Amerika mee te maken heeft. Misschien betekent dit dat ze gewoon... een stapje terug gaan nemen, omdat ze gewoon niet meer zo'n... ik weet het niet.
Waar ik met Nasser over, die jullie hebben gehoord, waar die het ook over heeft gehad met mij, is dat Trump wel voor isolation is. Dus hij wel echt voor...
Ja, dat zegt hij, maar denk je echt... Ik denk, at the end of the day, money en...
dus wat hij bedoelde met isolation was een beetje van... nou, al een beetje het continent van Afrika, Azië... daar gaan we ons alleen maar mee bemoeien als het winst gaat geven. Ja. Dus echt economie. Ja. Dus niet met mensenrechten gaan bemoeien. Ja. Wat democraten eigenlijk toch wel vaker doen dan republikeinen. Zich bemoeien.
Ja, dat weet ik dus niet. Want ik heb ook het idee dat at the end of the day gewoon dat money, global money, olie en de industrie en de arms industry even, gaat winnen. Dus ik denk dat hij op een gegeven moment wel gaat realiseren dat, ik denk niet dat hij van plan is om de American economy echt helemaal te laten... Ja, I don't know. Anyway,
ja.
Het is best wel... Het is best deprimerend. Ik vind het ergens wel deprimerend... omdat ik voornamelijk echt bang ben... voor wat er in Europa gaat gebeuren.
Yeah.
My concern is more with Europe than America, to be quite honest. Ik sta er echt een beetje ver van verwijderd.
Weet je, het begint ook alleen maar enger te worden... als je ziet van welke mensen hij nu naar binnen aan het halen is. Ik bedoel, toen ik zag Steve Bannon... moet je maar even opzoeken. Ja. Maar dat is echt een hele enge man. Ja. Racistisch, seksistisch, antisemitisch. Echt you name it. En hij is het. Dus dat zijn wel de types die nu allemaal... Weet je?
Het is gewoon nu officieel, not unofficially, maar officially... Amerika is gewoon een bananenrepubliek. Gewoon your garden variety banana republic. Dus in that sense denk ik van... welcome to reality.
Ja. Goed.
No more American exceptionalism.
Ja. Nou, wij hopen in ieder geval dat... weet je, dat jullie het interessant vonden. Wij delen dit graag met jullie. En wij hebben daar nu een platform voor. En wij willen dit ook vaker in de toekomst doen. More voices. Niet alleen ons drietjes. Maar meerdere mensen.
Ja, dat is de bedoeling, ja.
Ja. En 4 december... Nee, shit. Wanneer? 6 december?
Weet ik niet meer.
6 december.
Ja,
onze volgende aflevering is op 6 december. Subscribe voor onze nieuwsbrief van de geweldige mannen bij Revue. Zodat je op de hoogte blijft. En tot Dipsaus.
Tot Dipsaus. Until the next time.
Bye bye.
We did it.
Yes.
Oh my god. Aan de keukentafel.
Ta-pa-pa-pa-pa. Pa-pa-ta-pa-ta-pa-pa-pa.